page, you know that I have spent the last week in London trying out all this great, amazing food. So, one of the things that I tried while I was there that I didn't get to show you was an amazing chili. And I thought to myself, I'm gonna remake my own because I do have a picture on my page where I made one already. But I kind of tweaked my recipe a little bit. I'm gonna bring you guys a little something special. And also, I am making this for my very own, one and only sister, Shax. Alright, so here we go. Get a pen and paper out, write these ingredients down so we can get to cooking. First off, we have 2 cups of vegetable stock. We have about 2 stalks of celery, half of a green pepper, 1 pound of mushroom, about half a cup of roasted corn. This is cilantro, which we're going to use later to taste. I have some 3 cloves of garlic in here and half a cup of onions. Then in here, in this bowl, you can't see it at the bottom, but I have about 3 large carrots that I diced up, 1 large sweet potato, and in here, of course, the major ingredient, because it is a 3-bean chili, vegan chili, I have 3 beans. So I have a pinto bean, black bean, and a red kidney bean. So the most important part, which is the seasonings, in here, I have, listen to this very carefully. Believe it or not, I have a tablespoon of cocoa. Yes, cocoa powder, just a little bit of cocoa. Just kidding. All right, got cocoa powder in here. I have 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika. I have 1 tablespoon of oregano, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of ground cumin, ground coriander, 1 tablespoon of ground cumin, and I have some black pepper, about 1 tablespoon. So it's about 1 tablespoon of everything. 1 tablespoon of black pepper, a little bit of oregano if I haven't said that already, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, and 1 tablespoon of red chili. All right, so that's the seasonings for you. And I did put like a dash of Himalayan sea salt, just a dash. So with the salt, you don't want to put too much salt in your seasoning mix. You want to cook it all and then put your seasoning inside of it. So I have 1 major ingredient that I'm missing, and it is a little tiny habanero pepper. So someone's gone out to the grocery store to go get it for me. So I'm going to add it later, but I'm going to show you in the video how you actually should add it. So I'm going to add it later, which I know will be fine. So here we go. Let's head over here to my big, beautiful pot and let's get to cooking. So I've got my onions and my garlic in here. And I just use a little bit of grapeseed oil. You guys like my new grape container? I mean, oil container. Pretty cool, huh? Anyways, so I put my onions. So in a lot of the recipes, you know, they don't specifically say use red onion, white onion. So for those of you who've been following me, you know that I always use a red onion because I feel like it gives the food way more flavor. So I'm using a red onion in here. And you want to start off on a medium heat. Alright, and you just want to get your onions nice and sauteed. You'll know when everything is ready for you to put the next step in, which is the seasoning, because you'll start to really smell the onions, really smell the garlic. It'll have a much, much, much stronger smell than it would if you were just, you know, chopping it. Almost like a cooked smell, like I'm cooked, ready for the next stage type of smell. So you want to make sure that you keep sauteing it, you keep stirring it. Don't let your onions and your garlic burn. You don't want that in your chili. Ugh. So, have you guys ever just like woken up, you know, it's winter outside, and you're like, you want something warm and fuzzy? Well, this is going to be the dish for you because we are almost at the end of summer, going into fall, and going into winter. So this is definitely a must-have staple at home. But even during the summertime, when it's all rainy and gloomy and you just want something warm, this is it. Oh, and by the way, it will knock out any cold that you have. Any cold, I promise you. This this will do it for you because it is super spicy. All right, so I told you guys earlier on that I needed a little habanero pepper, which I don't have right now. Someone's going to get it for me. But so now you are supposed to add in all the spices. So all the spices along with your pepper of your choice. So I like to use habanero pepper because it is spicy. I feel like it gives us a little bit more flavor. I've tried all the other peppers, and they're just not spicy enough, and I just feel like it doesn't give the food the flavor that I'm used to. So anyways, this is where you now add in your spices and your habanero pepper, or whatever pepper of your choice, and you mix it in with your onions. So it is supposed to have that nice sort of brown look because of all the lovely spices. Honestly, this is the first time that I'm making this recipe, and I'm putting cocoa powder and cinnamon in it, so fingers crossed that it tastes good. They said it was going to taste good. Better taste good. Someone's going to be in trouble. Just kidding. Alright guys, so now that we've got this going, we are going to add in our 2 cups of vegetable stock. So I like to use a vegetable stock that is low in sodium. I generally do not like to cook with a whole bunch of salt, and so because I'm making this for someone, I'd rather it be a little bit on the low side with salt, so that way the person can, you know, my sister can just add in, you know, salt to taste basically. So, you know. Alrighty. We're just gonna stir this and let this simmer a little bit. And then after it simmers just a little bit, then we're going to add in our vegetables. This dish is super quick to make. It is not difficult. So keep watching. Stay tuned. Let's get to cooking. All right, so now that I've allowed my onions and garlic, my seasonings, and for those of you who have the right ingredients from the beginning, also your pepper, this is where you now add in all your vegetables. So I like to put in my carrots and sweet potatoes first, because they are the hardest vegetable there, and I like for them to be at the bottom so they get cooked very well. Then I put in my green bell pepper and celery, my mushrooms. Do you guys like my colorful bowls? Isn't it very sort of merengue? Hey! I'm just kidding. All right. And we got our beans. That's a lot of beans. That is some protein for you, okay? Then we're gonna put in some corn. So the first time I made this, I felt like I put in way too much corn. So I'm just gonna put in a little bit. I believe I told you from the beginning that you only needed half a cup of corn. So don't get a whole can and just start putting in a whole bunch. So. Alrighty, now I'm mixing everything in. So when you're mixing it in, right, you're gonna notice, come on over here and take a quick look. You're gonna notice that there's very little water in there. So whatever you do, don't panic. It's not supposed to be, you know, covered in water. You just want it to just be exactly what it is with the vegetable stock, because there's already natural water inside the vegetables, and so by the time you cover it and it starts steaming, it's going to bring up all the water and juices and flavors and everything that you need to make this the best vegan chili ever. I promise you that. All right, so I've stirred everything in. Ooh, I already smell it and it smells so good. So I'm gonna let this simmer, cover it and let it simmer for about, on a medium heat. I'm gonna turn my heat up just a little bit for about 15-20 minutes before I come and check up on it again. Don't worry, you don't have to do any more stirring. Just let this bad boy cook. All right? Good. So remember I told you guys that I was getting someone to get me my pepper. My pepper has arrived, so I'm gonna rinse it, chop it up, and I'm gonna put it in my chili. Now, this pepper is not for the faint-hearted. Do you hear me? Not for the faint-hearted. Don't say I didn't warn you. People like my sister that love pepper can handle it. It's not for the average person. The average person should probably just get the little habanero, no, not habanero, what's the other pepper called? Jalapeno pepper! Jalapeno pepper! All right, we're gonna chop this up, rinse, chop up, put it inside. All right. So by now, your chili should be nice and boiling. All right, and when it gets to this boiling point, I want you to reduce your heat, because then you're gonna let it get to a point where it simmers and it just cooks in nice and slow. You got it? Nice and slow. Now I got my habanero pepper all chopped up. Oh, that's a lot of pepper, but I deseeded it. So you have to give the client what they request. So the client requested for an extremely spicy chili. And this habanero pepper is gonna make it extremely spicy. So, Sharon, don't blame me if it's too hot. Alrighty, so I've got it all mixed up in there. So come on in and take a closer look. Can you see how my carrots and my sweet potato are still looking very chunky? So that's what you don't want. You want it to now simmer down so that it gets kind of mushy, gets all cooked up in there. And this is also the time that you do a little taste test. So taste it to see if you need to put a little bit more salt, you want to add a little bit more black pepper, a little bit more smoked paprika, you know, all those sorts of flavors. No more cocoa powder, no more cinnamon for sure. All right, this is the time to taste. And then you just let it simmer. So mine, can you see what's going on in here? So you see how mine is very little water. So I may add a tiny bit more of vegetable stock. But let me put some more seasoning in first. So why don't we taste it first and see how it is. And then we can decide on that later. But now is the time to let it simmer. So keep my heat super low. Just let it simmer. As a matter of fact, I'm just gonna move it onto this burner, so this burner right here. And just cook it real low, real slow. Cover it and let it simmer down and cook like this for like another 30 minutes. But every 10 minutes, just come take a look at it, okay? Because you don't want it to burn. All right, let's get to tasting. So, it's been about roughly 35, 40 minutes. I'll allow my chili to simmer down. And you know what I did? I tasted it. So when I tasted it, I realized that it needed a little bit more salt and I added a little bit more vegetable stock. And the reason why I did that was because where I got the recipe from, which I'll tell you in a second, they didn't add some of the ingredients that I added. Number one, they only used 2 different types of beans. And also, they didn't use sweet potatoes, they used squash. So I believe that that's the reason why my chili needed to be cooked down a little bit longer than usual. And so I added about another half a cup of vegetable stock, 3 teaspoons of salt, a little bit more crushed black pepper, half a tablespoon of smoked paprika, and half a tablespoon of, there's this chili pepper powder that I use. This one right here, ground red pepper. I use that only because my sister said she wants it super, super, super spicy. So anyways, I let it simmer down for about 35, 40 minutes. Come on over here and look. So it's all nice and simmered down and ready to plate up. Oh yeah, ready to plate up. It's chili. And I cannot wait to taste it. Let's plate up so we can taste it. All right, so we are ready to plate up. So one thing that I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add, see that steam? A little bit of cilantro to taste. All right, so I got this recipe from Beans, Rice, and Everything Nice chilli.weebly.com. So some of the things that I did differently was, like I said before, I did not use squash, I used sweet potatoes. I added 3 beans instead of 2. And also I used a habanero pepper instead of using another pepper that was recommended. But basically I just wanted you to know where I got the recipe from, so I used it as my base. And then I started doing research on different types of chilies and what goes in it, even the chilies that have meat and stuff in it. And so that's where I decided to go ahead and use things like cinnamon, cocoa powder, and things like that, just to give it that real rich chili taste. So these are my absolute favorite hot dogs. Field Roast makes absolute amazing veggie, vegan friendly hot dogs, burgers, even cheese, everything, and I love them. So I've already boiled one because I want to try it with a chili dog. So I'm just going to stir in my cilantro. Ooh, it smells so delicious. I can't really taste it. And another reason why I really love this recipe is because it has no tomatoes in it, and I don't really do too well with tomatoes because it gives me really super duper bad heartburn. So try to avoid tomatoes as much as possible. Do you guys like my cool little spoon? Don't you remember seeing this like in the lunch line and then dipping some big massive gooey stuff into a bowl for you to eat? Yeah, well, I remember. So anyways, I love my spoon. Super cute. I'm gonna try it with one of my chips. And these chips are a quinoa and corn chips. They're super vegan friendly. Ooh, this is so hot. Hot. Woo. Super hot. 2 thumbs up. I also made some cornbread. See, I got the cornbread hooked up for you. Woo! It's gonna be fantastic. These are some honey corn mushrooms. And lastly, I've got my big, huge monster chili dog that I'm about to take a big, huge chunk out of. Oh my goodness. I don't want to burn my tongue. This is delicious. I love it. Bursting with flavors. Great taste. Smells so good. Goes perfect with this lovely, wonderful hot dog from Silver. Oh, I gotta take another bite. All right, I gotta take one more bite for my hot dog lovers. It's so good. All right, Sissy, this was for you. Sharon, I love you. I hope you love this. I know you will. I know you don't front. You're gonna let your girl know if this tastes good, right? Holla at your girl, let me know if it tastes good. It's so nice. It tastes so good. You guys, thanks for tuning in. Please try this recipe. 3-bean vegan chili by your girl Coco. Happy cooking!